Well, yesterday in these parts, it was all about football. Today, they turn their attention to the men's basketball team, and they are fired up here at the Moody Center, including the Longhorns' #1 fan, the SEC on ESPN. And hi, everybody, and welcome to this gorgeous building, the Moody Center. And it's a great vibe here. We got UConn and we got Texas. We mentioned Texas has won 7 in a row. UConn, Jay, they've won 2 in a row since that rough week they had in Maui. And today, they get Alex Caravan back. Taylor was without a VJ Edgecombe, and then Jeremy Roach suffered an injury in the second half. So both teams a little bit short-handed. But it was a big, big win for Connecticut. They dropped from second in the rankings to 25th after losing 3 in as many days out in Maui. We are underway. They are standing, and it is the Longhorns with the first possession of the game. And there is Trey Johnson with the ball. And Jay, didn't he get a lot of attention at the Connecticut shoot-around today? They talked endlessly about what they want to do to try to defend Trey Johnson.
Well, he's being guarded to start by Hassan Diarra, and that's what Connecticut does.
Out of VJ Edgecombe, and then Jeremy Roach suffered an injury in the second half, so both teams a little bit short-handed. But it was a big, big win for Connecticut. They dropped from second in the rankings to 25th after losing 3 in as many days out in Caravan the rebound.
Caravan was wide open on a great cut to the basket, but Tremont Mark made a fantastic recovery to block that shot. And that got Texas out in transition.
Solo Ball, the lefty who is shooting it extremely well this year, comes in that have to get better for them to get better over the course of the season.
Well, the first thing they have to do better defensively is guard the ball. You know, if you can't contain and stay in front of the ball, that puts your defense in rotation. And that's when the big guys pick up some fouls. And a great pass from Alex Caravan to Samson Johnson.
To the bench, too.
Yeah, that's true. But
yep.
Good screen.
And Reed with a slam, 11-4 UConn.
Well, you're so worried about the cutter. He set a screen with the cutter going out toward the corner, and that left Terrace Reed Jr. wide open, just not well defend three-point line. You'd rather have him take tough twos.
This is interesting and not in a good way for Texas. Arthur Kaluma just picked up his second. He has gone to the bench. The Longhorns are smaller right now. They are without some size. Jason Kent, a 6'8 grad student, transfer from Indiana State, is missing his 5th consecutive round and out, and McNeely down with a rebound.
And to your point on size, they've gotten the ball to Terrace Reed Jr. on out-of-bounds plays. There he is again. Nobody there to stop him.
And an and-one opportunity. The foul on Caden Shedrick.
In transition, UConn just spreads the floor.
Johnson, and he forced him into a tough shot. And Ross has the length and size to match up in that department with Johnson. He's about 6'7", might even be a little bit taller than Johnson. Samson Johnson off to Caravan. Open man. And the 3 a little bit short there for Ross, but the follow goes for Caravan, and it is all UConn right now here in Austin.
Texas is not hitting first.
The youngest of 4, and his older sister, Kennedy Carter, is a star in the WNBA, and then he's got 2 older brothers who were both football players. So when you're the youngest of 4 and everybody is an athlete, you don't get anything easy. You got to work hard for everything that you get, and you can see that in the way that he plays the game. Caravan for 3.
With UConn, it is not
back in and knocks down the baseline jumper. He was Arkansas's leading scorer a season ago at 16 a game, and it's a 6-0 run right now for the Horns.
Tremont Mark can be a difference maker for Texas. This is just his 5th game of this young season. But he is a talented player that lights it up in a number of different areas.
But Solo Ball can do that about as well as anybody around right now. His second 3 already in this one. Weaver swatted away by Samson Johnson, his second block of the game. McNeely spins and lost it. Got it back, lost it again, but it bounces to his teammate in Caravan, who hits another 3.
He just finds his way to the open spot at the three-point line.
By the way, Reese just texted me. He said he made a poor choice. You should call somebody else.
Should I?
Yeah.
I'm lucky he takes my calls. You don't.
28-16. UConn has had a healthy lead for almost all of this one. McNeely, a beautiful find to the cutting Solo Ball.
They get the ball right into the middle of the court.
And the errant pass tipped away, stolen by Singari.
Really good defensive job by Diarra, forcing Johnson to his left.
Ball with a great shot fake. The step in, the scoop, and the layup.
Well, he just lifted his eyebrows up and the defender was flying.
His left shoulder. And remember, he had surgeries on both shoulders prior to last year. Another three for Solo Ball. And it's a timeout for Texas. And the big concern right now has to be the well-being of Shedrick. In 1 week, and obviously will fall out of the #1 spot when the new poll comes out tomorrow.
And Creighton got some bad news. Pop Isaacs is out for the season after hip surgery. And he has been fantastic to start this season. That's a huge blow for Greg McDermott and the Blue Jays.
Diarra trying to turn the corner on Pope. Kicks it back out. McNeely hits the three. Boy, we got two extremely talented freshmen in this game.
The leading assist guy for the Sycamores, and I think he's such a good distributor. Maybe they can run a little better offense with him trying to distribute the ball and get them organized.
He and Pope basically splitting the minutes. Another great feed. Diarra finds Caravan, and it has been a passing and cutting clinic by Connecticut. No need to rush. 3 seconds. Diarra short on the three to bring a first half to a close that otherwise was really, really good for Connecticut. Alex Caravan is back with a vengeance. 14-8 in the first half, and Connecticut has made Trey Johnson work very hard. Good offense beating good defense right there as Johnson scores over Diarra.
Right, but it's a tough two.
Yep.
And that's what UConn wants to do, is make Trey Johnson take tough twos, not open threes, nothing in transition. And throughout this game, they've done that very, very well.
Johnson now 4 for 9, 8 points. Kaluma leads Texas with 10. Samson Johnson didn't play much in the first half because of the foul trouble. He is back out there to start the second half, and he lays it in.
Andrew, you can't let him drive it left, and you can't let him go middle. But a challenge three, he's not a great three-point shooter. He can make threes.
Caravan back to Johnson, up and in, and a chance for three as a block is called.
Boy, a great job by Samson Johnson off that little handoff action to just slip right to the basket in the middle of the floor. You get a back cut and then just more a little pitch than a handoff. And Tremont Mark comes over from the weak side. But he's an above the rim finisher, and he does finish plays pretty well. But one thing he can't do is get in wrestling matches down in the low post. That's where he's going to pick up fouls.
Caravan, step back, three is pure. Alex Caravan with his third three of the game, and he's got 17 points in this one. Dan Hurley is saying that Pope was too close. He was in the cylinder there, and Diarra didn't have a choice, but there was no whistle on the play, and another great pass. This time it's McNeely finding Johnson.
That was really smart.
Kaluma, good defense by Caravan.
Boy, how about Caravan stopping that drive in transition?
Diarra up top. Johnson the slam.
Little open side action. That means there's nobody in the corner, so you can't get a tag defender trying to disrupt the shot.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when you have a smaller defender on Trey Johnson. He's 6'6", maybe 6'7", long-armed. He can just rise up over the top of you.
He is from Garland, Texas, the greater Dallas area, just north of downtown Dallas, about a 3-hour drive from here, and he has heated up a lot. He's got 13, but he's going to need a lot of help because McNeely and Caravan and Diarra and Ball and Johnson, everybody wearing visiting blue is having a good game. Can they get a stop? Johnson the handoff to Diarra, got it back and slams again.
That's a set play. Johnson starts in the corner. They bring that action, and he's basically
Miami and Tennessee, and then Arkansas and Michigan. And when the new poll, Jay, comes out tomorrow, the Tennessee Volunteers are very likely to be the #1 team in the nation. It's not going to be Kansas. #1 Kansas lost twice this week. #2 is Auburn. They lost at Duke, and certainly there's no shame in losing to a top 10 team on the road. But it seems likely, I believe, that Rick Barnes and the Volunteers will be the #1 team in the nation as of tomorrow.
I think they will be, and with all that Tennessee lost from, you basically have to have your arms behind your elbows behind your ears when you go up and play defense with your chest.
Caravan into Johnson. It won't go, but the follow will for Diarra.
Got 2 on the ball, and Johnson again slips out right to the basket. Shooter comparison come from, and that's obviously lofty praise, just to say, hey, he reminds me a bit of Ray Allen. So this young man can really shoot the ball.
He's a 45% three-point shooter on the season. Terrace Reed Jr. just too big and strong.
Yeah, turns away from the double team.
Made it that way with the way that he is making buckets.
Well, knocking baskets down can lift the intensity of your defense. Coaches don't want it to be that way, but frankly, for many players and many teams, it is that way.
Good show there by Kaluma, but there are 2 Longhorns out on the defender on the perimeter. Somebody's open, and it's the wrong guy to leave open as Solo Ball drills another one.
Well, there wasn't much trouble.
It's probably just one season for Johnson, obviously, here in Austin with the kind of pro prospects that he's got. But it looks like it's going to be a great one. But Terrace Reed Jr., another big bucket at the other end, just using that strength to his advantage.
Just sealing off the defender and going to that left hand up to try to make Larry shoot over the top.
That would have gotten it down to single digits for the first time since early in the first half. Ball has had a terrific game for UConn. He's made 4 threes. Diarra. And it will go. Again, the 2-man game between Diarra and whoever the 5-man is. In this case, it's Reed.
And really set up by all the earlier moves, but also in his defense. And a good bit of the time he's been guarding Trey Johnson, did most of the first half.
Ball to Diarra with 10 on the shot clock. Diarra on the drive this time. And the follow is good for Caravan.
When the action went from left to right, Dan may actually smile before this game's over.
He just shared a lighthearted moment with one of the officials moments ago. Couple of free throws for Caravan, and it's an 11-point game, just 22 seconds to go. This is a 3-year-old building, and it's the first time a non-conference team has come into the Moody Center and won after the Longhorns previously had been 21-0. Caravan 21-11. Hassan Diarra, a career-high 11 assists. Solo Ball 4-3, 16 points to offset a great game by Trey Johnson and a great game by Arthur Kaluma as well. But it just a little too many weapons for Dan Hurley's Huskies today, as they were able to fight off what Kaluma and Johnson were able to do for the Longhorns.
Well, the team that gets the better shots, the better quality of shots, oftentimes wins. And UConn got better shots from tap to buzzer in this game than Texas did.
So UConn goes to 7-3 on the season, and the Longhorns drop to 7-2. And Chris Budden has a smiling, winning coach.